Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Very quickly, I just want to say thank you so much for all of the love and support on my very first roguelike upload. I got a handful of new friends subscribed to the channel, and I got some kind supporting words from my old friends who are excited for what's next, so thank you guys so much. Also, this is your sign to do something that you have been afraid to do, because if it works out for me, then it's gonna work out for everybody else. Right? But anyway, that's not why most of you are here. You're here to watch the best, most informative, and the coolest Balatro Joker tier list video that there is anywhere online so far. And I'm here to deliver. Also, if you are watching this at the time of upload, I am streaming Balatro right now. On Wednesdays, I stream roguelike games on my Twitch channel. So if you want to come by and say, hey, drop a follow, you can join us on Wednesdays for roguelike gaming. Okay. All right, I'm done yapping. I mean, at least for the intro. So enjoy the video. Welcome to my Balatro Joker tier list video. But it's the demo only. It's only the Jokers from the demo. But anyway, hi, I'm Nito. If you don't know me, I play Rocket League on my Twitch channel. So that's probably why you don't recognize me. And if you were to look through my YouTube right now, every single video on my channel is a Rocket League video. However, I do play a lot of roguelikes, especially with deck building roguelikes. So this game, Balatro, my husband actually discovered it because we watched Frost Prime and he played Balatro for the first time. If you have never played it, I definitely recommend it. But if you're here and you found this video somehow, that means you already know how good this game is. And you might have some opinions too. So if you disagree with my tier list, feel free to try to convince me otherwise in the comments. I am open to being convinced otherwise. I'm not a very like set in stone type of person. My credentials here are that I've won the game with every single demo deck. I have not been in the community for as long as some of the people that found this game in its pre-demo days. I just started playing on Friday and I have about 30 something hours in it now. It's that good though. It really is. I'm pretty sure that I have encountered every single one of these cards. Like I'm almost 100% positive. There are some that I have not taken in runs yet. However, generally it's because the use for them is so niche and limited that it's not worth it for me in any circumstance that has come up yet, which might affect the rating of the card, but otherwise, I'm thinking this is good. Okay, so let's get started. The very first Joker in the list is the 8-Ball Joker. The 8-Ball Joker will give you a tarot card if you play a hand with 2 or more 8s. I don't think this is a terrible card if you somehow like prioritize getting a lot of 8s in your deck, or otherwise it limits you a little bit because, you know, you have to play hands that have that pair of 8s in order to get the tarot card. I did use this in a run before. I think I remember actually farming the tarot cards, but it's still not as good as some other cards. I don't think it's bad though, because I think anything that gives you like tarot cards or planet cards, automatically it's worth it to try and build around it if you already have other things that are like multiplying your deck. There are just so many ways you can like manipulate the run and, you know, play smaller hands to get those extra tarot cards for free. So I just think packs, even in the mega packs, you only get one card. So getting them for free whenever you can play the 2 8s is pretty good. I think I'm going to put it in B tier. I think I'm going to put it as a B because of that. Like, it could be, if maybe it had a little bit more options, maybe you can build a run around that and it'll work out for you. I don't think it's an S tier card. It's not a run breaking card if you get it alone. It's not a card that I would sacrifice other Jokers for, stuff like that. That's kind of like where my mind is with this tier list, but it's not bad. It could help me in the long run to buff my deck and my Jokers. So the next Joker is the Abstract Joker. This card gives you +2 for every Joker card that you have currently. So I think this is a really good Joker. If you see it like maybe in the second ante, it's a really great card to grab if you already have a lot of Jokers. However, it is a card that I will seek to replace, or a card that I discard at the demo boss. It's one of those cards that if I can find other Jokers to give me more multiplier, I will do that instead of this card. However, I think early earlier game, it's still worth to pick up. I want to put it B tier as well, but I think I'm gonna, like, cause it's just me. It's a middle ground, you know. Like, I feel like a lot of the cards are gonna be in B tier for me. I kind of wish I could put it in between B and C. I think at maximum you get 10 mole. So yeah, I'm putting it in C tier, right? Because it gives you 2 per Joker. Does it count itself? Because then it would only be 8. I don't know. I could take it or leave it, honestly. And it really depends on what I already have, but it's not like I'm gonna build an entire deck around this one Joker. So the next Joker is the Astonomer Joker, which makes every planet card in the shop free. I feel like most of the time I don't see planet cards there. I think the game might prioritize Jokers in those slots. If you get the voucher that increases your card slots in the shop, then maybe perhaps you can combo it with the Constellation one, like, but it multiplies your multiplier by 1.5 and then adds 0.1 every time you use a planet card. So it could be like in combination with that, so that if you are also accumulating a lot of money, you could re-roll the shop until you get planet cards to buff this card. So that's a good combination. I feel like that could earn you a really great multiplier. So I don't think it's bad. It's hard to say if I would grab it if I didn't have this card. So I feel like I'm gonna also put this in C tier, probably below the Abstract Joker, just because it's not giving me any more chips, and it's kind of based on RNG of the shop. So let's move on to the next card. So the Banner Joker will give you plus 20 chips for every discard that you have remaining. I was right. I had to double check. It's one of those cards I can see in the future if there are cards that increase your discards. It could be helpful. Early game, like I said, it just, to me, feels like it's good for a sec and then it's not. When it comes to cards that give you chips, if it's not like a stacking amount or a large amount like the ice cream is initially, I don't think it will help you in the long run. It's another card that you're gonna be, if you still have it at the end, you're gonna want to delete it. This might also be a C tier card, honestly. It might even be D tier. I'm being really harsh, aren't I? I feel like I'm being really mean, but like, there's just, I haven't gotten to like the game breaking cards yet. I feel like there's still so many good cards. I just haven't gotten to them yet. This one I frequently pass up. I think I'm gonna put it in D tier, but I think high D tier, low C tier, just because it could be good in the beginning. Like if it's in the shop, like, yeah, maybe I'll buy 20 extra chips. I can beat those, you know, small blinds. But as the blinds go up, it's not enough, in my opinion, unless you are, your deck is so good you don't use discards ever and you can consistently get the max amount of payoff with it. It's hard to set up in the demo. Next card, the chalkboard, I think it's called, is the Blackboard. My bad. So the Blackboard Joker gives you X2 mult if all the unplayed cards in your hands are clubs or spades. Yeah. So what that means is it has the potential to multiply your multiplier. And in my opinion, cards that mult your mult are some of the best cards you can grab. This one, however, it does require you to be already building your deck around the black suits. And if you have already like used a tarot to get more diamonds or hearts, it might not be worth it for you to grab. But it could still get you that multiplier sometimes, or in desperate times. It's just you have to have an abundance of the black suits, which is not uncommon. I am gonna put this card in A tier. I don't think that it is the best multi-mult card. There's probably a word for that, and I apologize. But yeah, X2 mult, that is a lot to double the multiplier. Anything that multiplies your multiplier, easily a card that you want to build around and you want to grab if it's early game and try to build around it. So yeah, I'd say if I saw the Blackboard Joker and it was like a card that I saw, you know, in the first 3 antes, and I have not really solidified what I want my deck to be, or I have already started to get more black suits, I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna try and work with it. A tier, first A tier card. If it was like, or like spades / clubs or hearts and diamonds, like it had to be, you had to choose like one color suit to be in your hand, then that would make it an S tier card, because then it kind of wouldn't matter if you're going either way. Also, it's called the Blackboard, so it makes sense that it favors the black suits. I just put that together. Anyway, next card. Next one. So the next card is the Blueprint Joker, which copies the ability of the Joker to the right of it. So this card, probably one of the best Jokers in the demo, simply because it's duplicating an action. There are some incompatibilities. However, when it comes to multiplying your multiplier or adding mults, like there are so many combinations you can make with this card that I feel like it's almost an instant cop every time you can work it in somehow, unless you have a better combination with, you know, a 5 or 4 Joker combo. But it's so good. I used the Stencil and the Blueprint Joker to copy what the Stencil was doing, and it was great. It worked out really well. I also have had another run with this card. I've seen my husband have. So it has a lot of potential to make the run broken. This is actually going to be my first S tier card. Like, it's great. If you have a great card, you can have 2 of them for the most part. Like, most of the cards that I've seen work. There's been a few I can't think off the top of my head where it doesn't allow it to duplicate, but for the most part, it doesn't have a problem with like multiplier cards or any sort of card like that gives you more chips. And that's the name of the game. So now my next card, this is the Burglar Joker. I had a run with this card that worked really well, so I might be a little bit biased. I like this card. This one is a little bit tricky to pull off. However, I do think that there are combinations that with this card you can break the game in some ways. For example, I was using the Burglar card. What this card does is when your blind is chosen, it takes away all your discards. However, you have +3 hands. So it essentially takes your discards and turns them into hands, so you have to constantly play. But what I found out is, especially if you find this early game, you can make a lot of money, because every hand that you don't use is $1, and every extra $1 means more opportunities to buy the cards you want, the Jokers you want, and to buff your deck with the packs. So you have to factor in the ability to make money in this game, because there are a lot of times that I have failed runs because I've just been broke and not been smart with my money and not been saving and not been getting that interest. So there's a little bit of strategy there, and I think that this Joker does a good job of that risk and reward factor. Towards the end game, again, like if you're not stacking other things, it's not that much, but in the early game. So I feel like this has a potential to be a good like early game card to draw. Maybe not right away until you start kind of manipulating your deck and choosing the suits that you kind of want to have, or perhaps like the hand that you want to try and go for the most. I liked it. I liked playing with it. I think it benefited me. I want to put it in A tier, but because it's a little situational and it's one of those where it can help you, it might not. I don't think there's very many negatives, but I'm going to put it in B. I think I'm going to put it above the 8 ball. It has some combinations of Jokers, I feel like, maybe that I don't even know, that could be B tier. B tier for my Burglar. Go to the next card. The Joseph J. This one, I'm assuming it is an homage to American Psycho, and it's like that business card, the eggshell white or whatever. I thought it was a really cute design. Yeah, definitely is. So this one, face cards have a 1 in 2 chance to give you $10 when played. No, $2, not $10. I was like, what? $10? In the back of my head, I was like, that's not right. I had to glance over. A 1 in 2 chance. I feel like having a 50% chance to get $2 every time you play a face card is nice. This one though, I would say again, it's one, if obviously with the abandoned deck, it's an absolute no. So it's not something that would work like with every single of the demo decks. I think I might put this one in C tier. And I put it above, obviously I put it above Abstract Joker. It's a good way to earn some extra cash. However, it's still a chance. It's not a guaranteed outcome. And if you're really needing that $2 extra, like it might screw you in the end. So the risk reward factor isn't as balanced I feel like. I'm not sure, but I haven't had a ton of like crazy success. If you have a build, you know, like if you're going and duping a bunch of face cards and you have a ton of extra face cards, it would be worth it to grab if nothing else arises. That's what I'm saying. I feel like it can be easily replaced even if you have a deck that is majority of face cards. And for that reason, I put it in the C tier. The next one is the Cartomancer Joker. Isn't that right? Spawns a tarot card when the blind is selected. So like I said earlier, I like cards where they are spawning cards for free. That I believe is a valuable mechanic. Should be noted, it only gives you one and it's only every time you select a blind. So there's no way you can influence it by playing a hand like the 8-ball. This is gonna be easy for me. I'm gonna put it below the 8-ball and B tier because like I said, early game you see this, you're like, yes, let me grab it. So every time I get to a blind, I at least get a tarot card for free. That's worth grabbing it. It is replaceable. I feel like that is a good way to kind of like indicate whether or not this Joker is really good. So middle of the road. If I see it early game, maybe I'll grab it. Maybe I'll give it a little spin around town, you know, give it a little show. And we're going to the next one, which is the Ceremonial Dagger. Very, very cool looking card. Very interesting card as far as what it does. So this card, I'm gonna read this one off of the freaking wiki. When blind is selected, destroy Joker to the right and permanently add its sell value to this mold. This card can become an S tier card, but only if you also have the egg. And I know a lot of people have figured this out already. My husband is the one that figured this out initially. He's like, I found a way to break the game or how to use the egg. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like the egg is just to get that cold hard cash. You know what I'm saying? No, you get the egg early on, right? And then you kind of want to search for the dagger a little bit because it destroys the egg. And now whatever the egg is worth, it is the molt. And you can have the egg for so long. When I used it, it was a plus 25 molt, and anything that's over 10 or 15 even, because a lot of these Jokers will give you plus 15 molt. I'm going to say because I feel like the only way to capitalize on it is with the egg. It limits its potential to be an S tier card. If there are other cards in the full version of the game, I'm trying really hard not to look at the descriptions for these cards on the wiki because I want to be surprised when the full game comes out. But Ceremonial Dagger for the demo is still, God, I want to put it in an A tier because of that potential combo. And because the pool of Jokers is not that big, you are likely to get an egg during your run. It just really depends on when you get the egg. So maybe high B tier, but it deserves A tier simply because there's a potential for you to get like plus 50 molt every time. And that is like a lot. If you can pull that off, it ends up being a card you want to keep. A tier below the Blackboard. The ones that multiply your molt, I feel like those are the ones you gotta try to make it work. But there are better ones. The next card, this card, the Constellation Joker. Also one of my favorite artworks. It's very cool. So this one is the one I was talking about earlier. It will multiply the molt by 1.5x times, and it increases every single time you use a planet card, which is often. Like you're not using planet cards. Know what I'm saying? So if you get this card early, or if I wish it would be even more, I mean, obviously it makes sense as to why it's not like this, but if it could keep track of the planet cards that you use, and then whenever you get this card, it has the multiplier already, then it would be an S tier card automatically. But because this is an uncommon card, you might not get it until later in your run. There's still skip potential, right? It has potential for you to look and be like, I actually can't make this work now because I'm in the last couple ante. And of course, this is for the demo. The run does end. I still want to put it pretty high because of the molt, but I'm gonna put it right next to the Blackboard. I am gonna put it above it because if you do get it early, you could potentially surpass the molt that this card gives you, and it would be a worthwhile card to keep until the end. What I had done as I had this card and the duplication, my good old S tier card, it makes any A tier card an S tier card. That duplication Joker, too good. It's more of like a mirror or a blueprint. Anyway, we're going on to the Joker for straight. All these Jokers are just, this was crazy. This one's the Droll Joker. This one's the Mad Joker. I don't even know what that one is actually. But they all have to do with the hands that you can make in the game. So this one is for straights. Straights are already one of the like higher multiplier cards. So it is good to go for straights or try to build decks around straights. This is a card where if I saw it pretty early on, it's a risk because then you start looking for straights, and sometimes if you have nothing else, it can kind of put you in a bind and make you lose runs because you're trying so hard to get that perfect straight or a straight at all, and it's just not getting to you, and you're now having to play really low hands with no multiplier. It's the only one if it's the only card you have. However, if you do end up building a deck around these straight cards, it is a decent build. And it has gotten me pretty far. I'm going to put it in at the end of B tier. It's one of the better crazy Joker cards that buffs a particular hand. The 5-card hands are always going to be the cards you want to go for the most part. Make builds around. Unless the shop is giving you ways to buff the smaller hands, but B. End of B. B tier. Almost C tier, but I think when a Joker is worth grabbing in the beginning, like no matter what, it adds to its tier or whatever. This next Joker is the Delayed Gratification Joker. So this Delayed Gratification Joker will give you $2 per discard. It's only if you don't use any discards. So if you get it later in your run when you know like, oh, my entire deck is like built around getting what I need in no matter what, and you don't have to like fish for things and stuff like that, it would be a good card. But I've grabbed it once and then sold it pretty soon after because it's really hard to not discard things in this game. You have to kind of have a build already, like the deck is already pretty significantly shaved down and you're getting your hands pretty frequently. Maybe you can combo it with a card that gives you more discards. I don't think any of these Jokers do. I think that there is one that I saw in the wiki that does that. So Delayed Gratification, honestly, it gives you money. I'm going to put it in D tier. Both of these cards have to do with not using your discards. And I don't think that it's something that's viable in the demo right now. At least I have not been able to make it work. So this is on my personal experience, guys, by the way. And I would love to hear your experiences, your runs. If I'm streaming this game on Wednesdays, by the way, is when I stream roguelike games on my Twitch channel. So if you want to stop by and play this game alongside me and we can talk about all the cool combinations and things that's going on, I have a lot of fun doing that. So that's what I'm doing right now, and that's why I'm making this tier list, because I've been so impressed with this demo that I have to support the game and the developer and put out this tier list. The people need to know my opinion. But no, I love games like that. The next Joker is the DNA Joker. So this one is if the first hand that you play only has one card, you get a duplication of that card and it gets added to your hand. So you get to use it again. This one is interesting because I have not been fortunate enough to have gotten it early enough to make it work. But I really believe that if there's a seed out there where it gives it to you pretty early on, it's a rare card. So it would be difficult to get it. It could potentially create a deck that works for you in a lot of ways, like with the 8 card. If you have a bunch of 8s and you're duplicating 8s, you can combo this one, or in other ways, like if you're trying to get a 4 of a kind a lot and you're in stuff like that. Like I feel like it has a lot of potential to be a very valuable card, like just something that can create more of a type of card. The problem I ran into when I had it was I kept forgetting that I had it, but that's just a learning curve. You start to really like think about your Jokers and how they work together as you get more hours in the game, or in any roguelike, really, you start not forgetting about those things. But I just couldn't make it work for me. I think it's still decent enough if you get it early enough that it's going to help you if you can shave down your deck as well. Because like if you're getting a bunch of extra cards and it's just adding to the possibility of what you can't get, it might actually hinder you. I'm going to put it, I kind of wanted to put it at the bottom of B, but because of that last point, I might put it at the top of C. I just feel like one card isn't enough. One card duped. You guys have to convince me to move it up, because it's just, there's got to be too many things that line up for it to actually like work in your favor. So that's where it stays for me. But I like the idea of being able to manipulate what cards you can can duplicate, but you also have to get them in your hand in the first place. So another added layer. It's staying in C tier for me. All right, so the next one, the Droll Joker. This is the one that gives you multiplier for the flush. Check how much. 10 plus 10 molt. So plus 10 molt for the flush. This is the exact same place as this one. They kind of go hand in hand. It's I believe it's higher ranked, so I have to put it above, because if you are leveling up flushes, it will give you more chips in the end. But same reasoning. It is a very solid card. You can build around it very well. It is sellable, so that's why it's at the bottom of B. You like towards the end, you'll be like, I could get rid of this because I have some other cards that are driving my chip score more and stuff like that. So there you go. All right, let's move on to the next one. This one is the Dusk Joker. Beautiful card. Absolutely. The landscape, you want to, anytime this card pops up in the shop, you just want to look at it for a while and imagine what it's like to touch some grass beneath your feet. At least that's what I experience. I don't know about anybody else. Trigger each card in final hand of round 2 times when played. That's really cute. I've seen this card, but I have not tried to use it. So I could definitely be convinced that this card is like a god tier card if you are so inclined to try to convince me. Because the idea of having a card or a hand where, especially at the last battle, because a lot of times you'll find yourself down to the wire at the final boss, at the final blind. I don't know why I have a hard time like saying it what it is. They're the blinds, like those are the bosses, but whatever. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. It could be very helpful for the very last run, which is very important. So this card, it's one of those cards that even if you got in the last shop, you'd be like, you know what, maybe I can make room for this one if you have like a Joker like this, for example, the Droll Joker, where you're like, I could use that, or I could actually just, but it adds chips too, so it's not molt. And then depending on what you're running, like, because you have glass cards, like potentially you get that multiplier with the glass card, and it could be very, very good, and you could get those game-breaking numbers. Final hand around. You also have to get to the final hand of your round, so we'll stump you for money. So I think this is definitely one of those end game cards. Like maybe you have a ton of money like saved up, you have like a perfect like 3 jokers, and the other ones are just there for funsies, and you can get rid of one and then one and then another like junk Joker during the final battle and have it help you. But very situational. Still I think one of the first end game cards that I kind of like have seen. So because of that, I haven't personally used it. I'm gonna put it at B. I'm gonna put it at right behind the Burglar, because I have had a great experience with Burglar, and it was a fun run. But this one I have not. I'm going to, though. I will be seeking it out now just to see what kind of shenanigans I can get into with the Dusk card, because I do think it has potential to be good. And Savior card, that's always points in my book, but it stays in B because I'm unsure of that. That's all my speculation. Egg! It increases in sell value by how much? Every round, $3. So every round it gains $3. If you get this early, it's you know where I'm gonna put it. This is consistently a card I see people pick up right at the beginning, or I've seen people pick up right at the beginning, and by people I mean my husband in Frost Prime and this other creator who I'm gonna put his name on the screen because he also makes incredible like roguelike content, and I for some reason can't think of his name, but he has an impressive train of thought. Like he is just talking the entire time he's playing and saying everything that's going on through his head. Very like informative to watch him play roguelike game. I'm putting it on the screen because I can't remember right now. So I've seen people get the egg at early runs just so they can accumulate that money. It's a really easy way to save yourself. Like when you're kind of getting really close to imploding a run, it can save you. So save your card, money, it's the egg. It's the egg. So I'm actually going to put it over the Ceremonial Dagger, even though this is how you would get rid of it. You would put it, but it trumps, the Ceremonial Dagger needs the egg. It needs the egg to be A tier. So that's why they're hanging out together. It's even hard for me right now. I kind of want to move it because like it's so situational but it's still that good if you pull it off. I feel like it kind of justifies it. Convince me otherwise. Tell me it's trash. I'm not going to disagree with you. I probably will. Anyway, we'll go on to the next one, Fibonacci. This one was really cool. When I saw it pop up, I was like, oh, I get it. It was just immediately like, that's so cool. I like the creativity behind these jokers, and you know, it doesn't have to be anything that's like, you know, it's just the Fibonacci, the golden numbers, and whatever. You know, I have been out of school for a long time, so I'm gonna stop talking about that. So the Fibonacci +4 molt for every 3, 5. Ah, dang it, I already fucked up. Ace, 2, 3, 5, and 8. I didn't know. Well, I mean, it didn't fuck up, but I forgot the first two. The golden ratio. It has a decent, like, if you are playing like the abandoned deck, this would be a decent grab because you have those numbers in a lot of hands. Almost every hand you'll play will have, you know, if you're going for the smart hands like straights and flushes and all that, you will often see those hands. But then of course it's kind of situational with the other decks, but it's +4 molt. So if you play like a 4 of a kind of aces, you're getting 16. You're getting 16 molt. Oh my god, dude, what the fuck? I'm so bad at quick math, and I like games like this. Like, how is it that I like games like, I don't do the math, I just kind of like, I guess I can conceptualize the numbers, but if you're asking for exact change, I can't help you. I can't. I kind of want to put this in C, but why? But it's a molt card. I just haven't used it very often, so I think that's why I'm not vibing with it, but it could be a good card. I'm trying to like see if there's any, like, if you build your deck around it, it could be powerful. I'm gonna put it in B. And I'm gonna put it near these guys because it kind of gives you the same amount multiplier, 10, 15 or whatever. Like I said, I have a terrible memory. Yeah, 10. Oh, what is his name? Crazy Joker. Okay, so the straight one does give you +15. That's why I was kind of tripping. There, that makes sense. There we go. Beautiful. If that was bothering somebody, I got you. Okay, the Golden Joker, you get $4 at the end of every round. So I like this card. It gives you money, pretty consistent. You get it early, you have it, and you can delete it at the end. Like, I'd like delete value because it helps you a lot while you're going along, and then you can say goodbye to it when you actually need to, and you can still have 4 jokers that are working together without the influence of that 5th joker. Anyway, I am putting it at the top of B, even above my little burglar boy. Whenever. If I have room, more money, more problems. All right, the next one, the next dude, look at his derpy little hat. He's missing the middle part. Even Steven. I get it now. Oh my god. I don't know. I just thought he was wearing a silly hat. But that makes a lot of sense. And then his friend, Odd Todd, he's only got 1. Anyway, even Steven, very good card to get right at the beginning for that early molts. I feel like I kind of want to put it by my friends here. +4, I would say it's got the same vibes as the Fibonacci one, if not better, because you have more options to land it. So there you go. And Odd Todd, I'm gonna actually do this one right now. Odd Todd, I feel even less because it gives you chips per. I'm gonna put it at the top of C tier because chips gets you C tier. No, I'm just kidding. It's just all right. I feel like even Steven clears Todd. Honestly. If you get them together, that is what makes it. That also, well, I'm moving the Celestial Dagger to B, and I'm moving it even below. I'll put it right below my egg because like, it needs that egg to be the A tier, but if it doesn't, then my tier list credentials are evolving. This is a sign of a good tier list, guys. This is a sign of a good tier list. It's going good. But because it makes sense. This one is good, and this one's good, and this one could be next to it if it's together, but when it's not, when it's alone, that's kind of like, I could take your leave, Todd. Sorry, Todd. Sorry, Todd, if you're watching, sorry. This 4 fingers card. So this card allows you to play flushes and straights with only 4 cards. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This card is often a card I see. I'm like, take it, grab it. There's so many runs where you're focusing on flushes and straights, and they are the highest value card. And even if you're building like a run with it, you can still play the 5 card straights and stuff like that. And at the end, even if you have a good enough deck, you can actually delete it. If you're getting the flushes and straights innately, all 5 cards, you don't need it anymore. But it helps you so much in the early game. I believe it's a rare card. The four. Is it called 4? Oh, it's called 5 fingers. What? My mind is blown right now because it has 4 fingers, but it's called 5 fingers. I get it. Maybe. I don't get it. I think it should be called 4 fingers. Sorry, local thunk. Is there some like sort of like poker implications with the name. I don't know if there's like if 5 fingers means something else. I might be naive to that. All right. All flushes and straights can be made with 4 cards. I was right about that. Just double checking. Yes, it's called 5 fingers. The 5 fingers card is, I'm pretty sure that's a Mandela effect. I don't believe that that's the card is called. I must have just been gaslighting myself. It's just good. It's good. You get it. You want it. You have it. And then you can say goodbye. And there's actually no hard feelings. And it works out for a run that works in your favor. And also you don't sweat it at the end when you have to delete a card, you know? I like it. I put it in S tier. It could be A tier because of the fact that you can sometimes outgrow it. Should I do that? Do you think I should put it at the top of A because of that? I'm going to put it at the top of A. It's an S tier card. But I also think that because of there are some times where you're actually good. You don't need the 4. You don't need the 5 fingers card. And maybe that kind of, I'm being really picky. But also, this is a standard curve here, so I'm on the right track. Actually, nah. This is good. I had the right idea. I hyped it up. I got a little too excited about it, guys. I'm sorry, but that's again a sign of a good tier list. I'm pulling in the reins a little bit. I want this to be a legit and accurate representation of my experience in the game. Like I said, please convince me otherwise in the comments. Gros Michel. I don't know how to say that banana, but it's hilarious. When this card first came out, I loved the little animation when it leaves. And some of you are lucky enough to not have seen it disappear, so I will not spoil it. But there have been runs where the banana freaking lives, dude, and it just hangs on for dear life because it's like 1 in 10, and I feel like that's 10% chance. Like, is so good. 1 in 10. That's the only thing I wanted to. As soon as I said that, my brain was just, you got to say it now. Sorry, you're a slave to your mind and the outbursts that it has. 10 plus molt, 1 in 10 chance this card is destroyed every round. So it gives you 10 plus molt, same as the flush card here. I love the artwork, love the banana, 1 out of 10 chance. So there's no stipulation. It's just gonna give you 10 plus molt no matter what. I'm gonna put it near the top of, I'm gonna put it next to the golden Joker, I would say. It can disappear on the very first time that you get to use it. So that's like the only reason why I don't want to put it in A. But I still think that the banana it goes hard for a long time, and it's deletable. That's another like positive quality. If it's continuing to live, it can be that card that it deletes itself, or you delete it at the last one. It's good. B is looking thick though. I might have to is that a common thing? That things are very much in the middle? I mean, it makes sense for a roguelike that the super rare cards are going to be few and far between, and the ones that break runs. So, but it's about the combos. It's about the combos. That's why I want to hear you guys' stories and runs, and how cards that I may have ranked lower helped you in your runs to an extent where you might be able to convince me that I should actually pick them up next time. That's the point of these videos, guys. The half Joker. The half Joker will 15 plus 15 molt if hand contains 3 or fewer cards. So this one's really good if you are building up like a certain face cards. Like if you have like a bunch of aces or kings or queens and you have this card. Otherwise, you're limiting yourself to be only able to play 3 cards, and no matter what, at some point, I don't ever think it's going to be enough to beat the boss with 3 card hands. So unless you have the perfect combination of Jokers in line with this one, and 15 molt, like at the end of the day, unless we're getting some sort of molt somewhere, like I could take it or leave it, honestly. I kind of want to put it right at the top of C because of the 3 hand restriction. Early game, another thing, I'm going to grab it. I might because of the 15 molt. However, it also, it gives you like some change a little bit. You're like, ooh, now I have to play 3 hands, and then it could lose runs for you. So yeah, I think I might even, I'm going to put it actually below the abstract Joker. That's fair. It goes hard for a little while, and then it just like, it doesn't help you at the end, I don't think. Unless, like I said, you have a very tailored deck for it. Maybe, well, then it wouldn't make sense. If it was like 4 or less cards, maybe then I would say you should definitely, but 3 or less? Not worth. Ice cream. So the ice cream will give you 100 chips, and every hand, I believe it melts by 5. Let's double check. 100 chips minus 5 every hand played. Yes. So great card to pick up right at the beginning. It gives you plus 100 chips, which is a lot. And then again, delete value. You can delete it. If I'm gonna be honest, it might be the only like high tier card that gives you chips, in my opinion. Like I want to put it at the bottom of A because it appears, it's common card, so it appears often. If you see it, you kind of want to grab it. If you have an extra space, why not? 100 extra chips, 100. And then as soon as you start getting below 50, you can decide like, I don't need this card anymore. I can replace it. And that adds its worth. I keep saying value. I got to get a value counter up on the screen somewhere. Actually don't. Actually do. Watch this video again. Count every time I say value. Put it in the comments. Value, value, value. Okay. I think I'm going to put it right at the bottom of A. And it might be the only card that has to do with chips. Only Joker that has to do with chips that I would say maybe top of B because it melts. Okay, I'll do that. Because it melts, it's not like a permanent card. If you get it too late, it might not be of value to you. 100 chippies though. I feel like in a lot of instances that can help you get through some tough blinds. So, yeah. The regular Joker. This is like the base Joker. This is Joker. This is Joker, dude. This is the guy we're talking about here. We made this game about him. This game is about him. So this card, the Joker card, gives you +4 molt. If you see it in the shop right away and it's the only card that gives you molt, you're gonna grab it. But other than that, it's a card that you don't really want to keep for that long. It's molt though. Molt is good. I think I'm gonna put it right at the top of C. It has to be kind of near the abstract Joker because the abstract Joker you could potentially get +6. Is that what my mental math decided? Wait, what? No, it's 2 for every Joker. You can get up to 5 Jokers, so it's 10. +10. So it can get up to +10. It has to go below it even. So C tier. It's just +4 is just really not a lot. I'm sorry, bro. Like and you're mean to me. Like every time I lose a run, this guy's insulting me. I'm just kidding. I might even like I could take or leave this dude. Really, it really just depends. If it's the first shop, I'm getting him. But it's like when he's up there, I'm just kind of like, when am I gonna be able to get rid of you, bro? You're at the top of D. Sorry, brother. Sorry, bro. Not sorry. All right, Stencil. The Stencil, I believe it's Joker Stencil. Molt ×1 for each empty Joker slot. Joker Stencil included. That's not true, is it? I thought it was X if you have at least 1 empty Joker slot. Am I dumb? Did it change? I like this card. That it works, especially in the right. Even if you find it right at the end, because you're gonna have 4. If you don't have some sort of like Judgment Tarot set up to get another Joker, you're gonna have 4 cards for the last boss battle anyway. And the molt, man, I'm telling you, I think that I want this either at the top of B or at the end of A. Especially with this card, the mirroring card, the blueprint card. It can really help with this one because you're molting, you're duping the molt. But again, you need that one to buff this one. It might be above egg. I don't know. Something about molt cards, bro. I feel bad when I don't put them here. And also, I'm looking at 5 fingers. I got so hype about it, guys. I'm sorry. I get really emotional sometimes when I think about, the runs I've had. It's just like I don't think I've had a bad time with it, and that's why I got so hyped. But at the same time, I haven't had every single time it be a winning run, and it's like the most amazing thing ever. I'm just big chilling, All right, the Hiker, right? Hiker, yeah. Actually, I have not personally used this card, I don't think, but Kevin has. I do remember watching a run where he used it and he got it right early in the beginning, and it was actually like buffing some of his cards significantly, especially after you start trimming your deck and you're playing certain cards very often. It starts to add up, but again, you have to get it early enough for it to make a difference. It's chips, and chips are always just gonna not be as highly sought after than molt is, in my opinion. You have to. It's like chips are good with molt, but molts can be good on their own without the chips. So I've been knocking like Jokers that give you just chips, but like I said, I feel like it early enough it could make a huge difference, especially if you have some other cards helping with molt. But you need the molt cards. You can't just live off of the chip cards. Just kind of like where the differences lie. Whereas you could get pretty far if you're just focusing on getting more molt or molting your molt. It doesn't sound like a word in my head anymore. All right, so the Hiker, yeah. I'm gonna put it like right above the abstract Joker in C tier. Part of me wanted to put it in B, but it's just I think it's just because I personally haven't used it. It's not something that I'm being like, oh, the Hiker. Like, this is obviously base cards, no modifiers, and I don't even consider them having modifiers to like change their position in the tier list. I don't think that's fair because it's so rare. So I don't care. Okay, I'll stop. So this card, the Juggler, gives you 2 more cards in your hand. Overall, it's one of the best cards Jokers you could get. It just helps so much. I feel like having 2 more cards when you're trying to get straights, when you're trying to get flushes, when you're trying to do anything, well, having more cards to pick from is great. Imagine a Joker that could give you more cards you could play, but it's just like, it is justifiably an S tier card. I don't think these work together, actually. This is one of the ones where it's incompatible because they're like, nah, you ain't getting 4 cards. Sorry. I'm like, okay, sheesh, all right. Sorry, local thunk. I'm just trying to break the game, all right? No, but you can't use these cards together. But even so, like this card individually on its own, so good. I will always grab it, pretty much always grab it, and it will stay in my hand forever. Forever, ever. Alrighty, Joker's Deli, another molt card. However, it takes some hands to pull off. You have to be consistently putting down hands. So the strategy's there a little bit where you don't want to win right away. If you have it, you kind of want to go slow with it. But it's very good if you get it to pull off. It's a savior card for sure. It's one of those things where it's like, I really need to, get that multiplier that it gives me, which is, by the way, punch card. Is the name of this Joker. Loyalty card. I'm an idiot. No, I'm not an idiot. I've said that twice now. I gotta stop. I'm very smart and I am capable. X4 molt for every 6th hand played. So hello? Multiplying your molt by, you win the hand every time. So this card is very good. I never get it when I want it. I feel like I already have established runs, so that's kind of like, I know it can be a very good card. However, I have not experienced that goodness. I gotta put it like above Stencil, and maybe even above this one, because this one is situational and it's something that you gotta build around very heavily, whereas this one you can kind of pull off as long as you're smart about how you play your hands, no matter what. It's a good spot for it. I keep thinking about my 5 fingers hand, and maybe I've been a little bit too generous with my rating because I've had so much. I'm keeping it there, guys. I promise I won't mention it again. I might mention it again. All right, Mad Joker, the 4 of a kind card. What is it? Plus 20 molt if the hand played contains a 4 of a kind. So I'm just gonna put that in B because it's in line with the benefits that these cards can also give you. It's a bit harder to get a 4 of a kind than a flush, I believe. It's a higher tier, but you get that 20 plus mult, but it's only 4. You're only playing 4 cards unless you have like this card where it counts every single card. You're losing some chip value there. So I'll put it there. They're all around the same. Nothing crazy. Now we have I think it's a Marble Joker. Gonna be honest, I have seen this once and I didn't pick it up. Adds 1 stone card in your deck at the start of every round. And a stone card is a card that doesn't have a rank, doesn't have a suit. It's just worth 50 chips. Now, I have not preferred a stone run. Like, I can see how it could be good and cool, where you're just relying on the chip value. And if you combo it with this card, especially the one that counts every single card whenever you play it, very good. Alone, if you get it late game, I kind of want to put it at the top of maybe even at the bottom of C, simply because I certainly have not utilized it. So I don't have any say really on what kind of run outcome I'm going to have if I grab it early. But I feel like I'm going to keep it at the bottom of C because you could convince me otherwise. Maybe you won a run and every single card was a stone card and you were like just dicking on fools. But I certainly have not dicked on a single fool with that card. So it will stay at the bottom of C. I'm being generous, I think. I could be convinced otherwise. The Misprint Joker. This one, it's a random molt. Plus random molt ranges from +0 to +20. So that's pretty good. I say if you see this card early on, it is a very good card to grab because it gives you that molt no matter what you play. For that, it's a lot higher value than these because these are situational ones. And it can give you up to 20. However, the randomness does kind of like, it could be 0. And it has been before for me. So it's one of those things about chance and odds, and gotta love that about poker. So it adds to the, I don't know what to call it, but just excitement of the game. You're like, ooh, what can I get here? You get this crazy molt, and it's just a lot more fun when stuff like that happens. So I think I'm gonna put it in B tier simply because it could potentially be +20 molt, which is pretty dang good. And I think I'm gonna put it right here next to my Burglar, dude. It looks good there. So now the next card, this one is +15 molt if you have 0 discards. Am I right? I looked that one up earlier. Mystic Summit. Ooh, so it's like a top of a mountain, but there's floating rocks and shit at the top. Holy. Yeah. Plus 15 mult when 0 discards remaining. It can be good with my Burglar Joker. It's good. I can't think. I'm thinking I'm going to put it at the top of C. And not because it's going to ruin my chart, but because it's one of those cards where it's good, but alone requires you to... You only get that plus 15 mult towards the end of the round. It's a savior card, so it kind of has that not gonna say that word. It kind of has that weight. That's good. I can't. I'm not a thesaurus today. I can't. But that's where it's gonna go. The AFC. Could be convinced otherwise, so I think I could be moved up to B. All right, so this one, the Raised Fist. See, I've heard a lot of great things of this card. Adds double the rank of the lowest card held in your hands to the mult. Adds double the rank. Oh, so plus 20. So that's what I'm missing. I was missing something. I was like, I feel like it's a better card than that because I've heard a lot of good things from it. Adds double the rank of the lowest card. So even a 3 will give you plus 6 mult. Okay, that's definitely a lot better. I've not used it in a run yet, so I'll have to grab it next time I see it, see what the frick is up and how I can stack. That's pretty good. I would say the fact that it's doubling it and you can manipulate that with face cards, it's harder to get to work with the abandoned deck, but I might put this one at the bottom of A, maybe above the egg even, because you have the potential of getting a plus 20 multiplier every time you play a hand with a lot of face cards or something like that. But then you have to think, like, what are the odds somebody's not playing a run with primarily hands that include face cards? Does that diminish the value of the Joker? I like it there. I could be convinced to move it towards the top of B as well. I'm being really, really particular about this, aren't I? But that's the sign of a good tier list. Let's go. This one, the bus stop. I'm gonna look it up because it probably has. Yeah, Ride the Bus is what it's called. Called it the bus stop. Plus 1 mult per consecutive hand played without a scoring face card. This card will win with the abandoned deck every time. Every time, if you get it early enough. If you get it too late, maybe not. But if you get it early enough, it will win. So with that deck, very good. With any other deck, not very good. So I feel like because of that, in other decks and other runs in the full version of the game, I want to put it at the top of C tier. It beats the abandoned deck. But other than that, I have not found like multiple uses, combo uses for it, stuff like that, where it's just very much a super niche card. You want to get it when you're doing that run, and that's it. And then when you win a run with it, okay, now I want to try to win with other cards. But it is good because at some point you start getting a disgusting amount of mult, especially if you play every blind and play small hands to build it up. It's good shit. It's good shit. Okay, just because it's only with one deck, I feel like that's not enough to give it a better score. Because these cards up here, like any of them, you're gonna win if you use them the way that God intended, that local thunk intended. So the Runner Joker, I've seen somebody win a run with this because they had a straight build. So this is one of those cards that is very particular, but if you have it, it's gonna be a card you want for a straight build. So because I value that most straight builds you're gonna want to go for a 5-card hand build. So I am gonna put this in B tier. But where in B tier? Because plus 1 should probably gain 10 chips, and then you could stack. It gets stacked. It's crazy if you're doing a straight build. So I'm gonna put this kind of near here. These are a lot of situational cards that would be really good if they had what they needed, you know? Yeah, maybe like around here. These give you... Actually, I'm going to put it right above where the straight card is. Because they kind of hang out together. They should be together. Face cards give you plus 20 chips when played. This one, again, obviously can't use it in abandoned deck. But if you're playing runs with lots of high straights, lots of face cards in your deck, it's going to add up and really in your favor. But it's a pretty good card to get right off the bat. If you're looking to buff your chips, like what you get. So I don't know, though, because I don't want to give it too high of a place because you shouldn't rely on having to restrict yourself to just the face cards. But in this game, I mean, you want to get the biggest scores so that it really helps getting those like crazy game-breaking scores. I think I'm going to put it in B tier as well. It's one of those cards. Like, if you're making that build, it's going to help a ton. But if not, you're gonna skip it. So it's not one of those unskippable cards, but it's not a terrible card to get. So that's a lot of cards like that, and I stand by that. So I'm gonna put in B tier. I'm gonna ruin the row again. It's gonna be ugly. But where is it gonna go? Where did it all go? Honestly, might even move Fibonacci down. No, I feel like that. I had a reason. I don't remember what the reason is, but it's there for a reason. I'm gonna keep it there. Joker, where are you gonna go? I'm putting it right next to. They got the same vibe to me, just in different ways. All right, the freaking Scholar, a legend and a scholar. I have not played with this card very much. Aces give each +4 molt and +20 chips when played. Buffs your aces. Aces are a cool and fun card. It's giving me, so it's better than this face card, but there's not as many aces in the deck than there are face cards. So it might be around the same, but worse because it's harder to pull off. But better because you get more out of it. But worse because I think it's gonna be right next to this one. It's just they're interchangeable in that way. That's my reasoning. But guys, it's Smear Joker time. Suits are grouped into red and black. This is an S tier card because your straights are a million times easier to get. Your flushes are a million times easier to get. You're gonna pick up the Smear Joker no matter what you're running. I don't know. Unless you're doing like a 3 of a kind build, which is hard to pull off anyway towards the end. This card is an S tier card. Most people will agree with me. I have been very particular about my S tier picks, but this one, I feel like I don't think I would ever pass it up, and I don't ever see it. It's rare. I have to seek it out. I have to fish it out from the shop, spend a ton of money to grab it, but it just makes you able to manipulate the game so much easier. A trait of an S tier card. The game is now your bitch when you have the Smear Joker. Every played card counts in scoring. Beautiful. Concise and A tier card. A tier card even right here would be good because it's not a multi card, but it is constantly giving you that opportunity to use your hands as discards in a way, which I think is valuable and adds to your chip value. It's chip value stuff, so it might even be like at the same level as the ice cream. Then I'm gonna put it at the end of A because I believe that it's one of those cards that you kind of want to grab if you see it, no matter what, if you have room, and it's deletable. Like it's got this deletability as well if you need to get rid of a card. That also adds to, because of how the demo is structured, you kind of want to think about having a card that's worth throwing away and still buffs your deck along the way. My reasoning is solid. This is the best tier list of all time. Supernova Joker. Adds the number of times poker hand has been played to multiplier. So this card, if you get it early enough, I'd say this is another not S tier. I would say this is another A tier card because basically, if you want to win consistently, you have to commit to a hand. That's fair to say. You have to kind of commit to a certain hand, a certain couple of hands that you want to play and level up and commit your time. Because otherwise you'll be doing okay, but then at one point you just won't be able to win because you don't have any single hand that can win no matter what for you. So this card, when you do that, which is often, it works out for you and you want to keep it in your hand because it just continues to work out for you. It's one of those cards where you cannot play it. Once you start using it, you have to commit. So that's kind of why I don't want to put it in S tier, but I do think that I think I'm going to put it above our 5-finger card. I would say I would grab it almost every time I saw it, or every time I saw it if I had the room, and I wouldn't want to delete it. It would just continue to, anything that adds to mult, and especially is like towards the hands, you can really get a couple of other cards to help in that cause in that way. Even these two cards together are very good. You start playing a ton of straights. The minus factor of the 5 fingers cards allows you to play more hands without winning sometimes, and then it buffs that card even more. So it's good. Very good card. Alrighty. To-do list. Gain $4 if a poker hand is, and then it randomizes the hand type, and then it changes every single time you win the round. So this card, I would say right at the beginning, is really good to get, and it's fun. It's actually it has a good monetary worth. It has respectable. It's just respectable. It is appreciated. It's a highly regarded a card. I would say I've lost my entire train of thought because I was being silly. But basically, because of that, you know, it gives you like an added layer to the gameplay and getting more money. I think it's cool. But does it break your game? Are you going to prioritize it over other money-making cards? Does it limit you? Does it distract you from the end goal? I think it does. I think it does. And people might disagree with me here, but I'm gonna put this at the top of C tier because it can work out for you, especially if you get it and you're like, oh, I'm making those hands. I'm gonna grab the to-do list, get my $4 extra and then sell it right away. It just doesn't mesh well with other cards. It's kind of a loner card. So for that reason, it's in C. Oh, it might even be lower because this one will win you a deck. This one with other cards but still very situational. I want to put it here above Odd Todd. Odd Todd can get you chips, can get you wins. DNA, the duplicator one. This is good then. I feel like I even may have put these two a little bit too low compared to some of these. I'm gonna move them up. I'm good with that C tier. I'm good with that C tier. The Superposition. That's right. Superposition. I thought this was a super cool card when I saw it. I was like, ooh, that's cool. If scoring hand contains an ace and a straight, spawn, tarot, and planet cards. So I had a run with this card specifically on the abandoned deck, and it worked out pretty well for me. I like I said before, it's one of those cards. It's generating free cards for you. I don't know. I just feel like it's a good enough card to, if you see it early and you're going for straights, might as well try and make something of it for a little while. You can get rid of it at the end. It has that, if you need that 5th card to delete for the boss. It is extremely situational, and you get either or, so you don't know whether you're going to get a planet card or a tarot card. I think I'm going to put it in C tier because some of these cards are also very situational cards that can be very good, but you have to get it early on. You have to have a deck that's catered to getting straights with aces often. And even though it gives you those cards, I just feel way too situational. Kind of hinders it. Finally, okay, we are on the last card of the entire tier list. If you've enjoyed my reasoning and think I kind of got a handle of this game, maybe you should come by on Wednesday at twitch.tv/Nito and play with us. Or if you think I'm like totally, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, tell me. Let me know in the comments. You can be as mean as you want, because all that does is help with the video go crazy. I want people to disagree with me is what I'm saying. But honestly, even like in a constructive way, because I'm learning from the people that watch my content too. I'm not like Frost Prime in that way, where I'm actually kind of big brain at these games. I have to really work towards learning them. But this one, I feel like it's kind of come pretty good. I feel like I got what I'm saying makes sense to me. At the same time, I have 30 hours. There are some people that have been playing this game or versions of this game before the demo came out even, and those are the diehards. If you're watching, shout out to you guys. You've probably made this game what it is by being a part of the community. So gotta give you guys a shout out there. So please, if you feel like I'm disrespecting one of your favorite cards, enlighten me. I want to know, and then I will maybe try out your methods next time I go live and play this game. Last card. It is not a very crazy card to end on, but it is the Zany card, 3 of a kind card. What kind of a buff are we getting? 10 plus mult, 3 of a kind. It's just not doing it for me. I don't even think I can put it with these because it's such a low hand, unless you've got the half Joker and some other. I think I'm going to put it in C tier, and it's going to go by Todd. Because again, you see it right away, you're like, I'm grabbing it because I love a good multiplier, but is it going to give you a game-breaking combination of Jokers? Maybe, if you, every other card, like buffing your 3 of a kinds or something. So, well, that's it. That's my tier list here. Here we are, guys. My complete Balatro demo only Joker tier list. What do we think? What do we think? This is a proper tier list. This is the sign of a pretty balanced demo, I would say, as well. Like the fact that there are majority mid-range cards, a couple of cards that are game breaking. I like seeing this, but I also know that the tiers of these cards are very easily shiftable if they are paired with other cards. Once again, thank you so much if you are brand new to my channel, especially brand new to me making videos that aren't Rocket League videos, but you've made it this far. Legend. If you are a roguelike connoisseur, I recommend stopping by my Twitch streams on Wednesdays, because that is when I am playing roguelike games. And since I'm so into this game right now, I will probably be playing Balatro on my streams on Wednesdays for the next couple of weeks, as well as being a part of the community. I'm in the Discord, so if you want to at me, I always have my Discord stuff. But yeah, thank you guys so much. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. And for real, if you guys really enjoy this video, I can see myself doing this again when the full version comes out with all of the Jokers, and I'm really, really excited for the full version of this game, and I think everybody that's played it is too, because when you're playing a demo for 30 hours and you still want to keep playing it, it's a beautiful thing. So shout out Logothunk and anybody else involved in the making of this game. It has a very, very good vibe, and I hope that it continues to thrive. I guess that's it. I should probably stop recording now. Don't forget to subscribe and comment and disagree with me and agree with me and be my friend. I'll see you in chat. Bye, guys.